gonna go ahead and get this set up here. The last waterfall I did, I was pretty happy with, so sorry, I need to see if I can get rid of this I want to get rid of this chat box, but I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, okay, so last waterfall went pretty well. Did it with pastel, so now that I figured out how to do that, instead of just continuing to do that and get better at that, I'll just go ahead and do this one in watercolor, which is what I used to use anyway, so it's not like I'm just starting out for the first time with watercolors, but you know, I guess that's the way I work. Okay, the last one, there was not a lot of space up here, pretty close up front, so I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I will probably start listening to some music while I'm working here in a minute. I have to do that with headphones on, of course, for copyright reasons or whatever it is. Okay, let's see. So the last waterfall was kind of in the center. I think maybe this one I want to come from over here. And this will be the rocky area, the waterfall. Maybe come this way, and then we'll have some more rocks over here. I think I think our neighbors are selling their house, so it seems like, or not, it doesn't seem like, my dogs are barking like crazy. Okay, so the waterfall has to have somewhere to spill. So maybe this waterfall is going to be in some sort of a canyon, let's say. So I'm going to come this way. The other ridge. I'll bring it down like so. None of these shapes have to be permanent. I do, yeah, last time I was trying to do less, or try to have a smaller amount of sunset or sunrise behind the waterfall, but this is relatively the same amount, which is okay. I mean, the point for me here is to have a waterfall to look at, and if the waterfall is bigger, and that's the focus of the painting, then it makes sense for it to take up more of the paper. Okay, so I like, for whatever reason, waterfalls that have like a rock that is in the process of getting dislodged over, I don't know how long that would take just by a natural process, but you have the water. This is the water here rushing past that waterfall. And so here's the actual water. Now I think last time I did, probably what I'll do, I don't know why I'm really liking this, but to push this back, last time I just did a couple of branches with no leaves on them. I think this time I might actually do like a flower up front, because I think that it would give some nice color up front, and also push all this stuff back. I'm gonna bring a if I want it all the way at the top. Maybe here. So I'm gonna bring like a mountain back here. For the time being, I'll leave this alone and determine whether or not I want to do some more stuff up here. But I think this will end up just being, that'll all be sun and sky. Sorry, I'm gonna get a drink here. Oh, but that one's empty. So I gotta stand up. Very old man. Standing is tiring. I'm just kidding. I'm only 42, which probably sounds like an ancient number to a kid. Oh, excuse me. I burped because I'm human. All right. So what kind of flower would be here? I also have a stink bug buzzing around in here. Okay, I'm trying to think. Maybe, what, one hibiscus or something? It could also just be buds. Yeah. This right here is probably another. There's another rock here. It seems like. Sorry, I'm gonna start kind of noodling around a little bit as I think about the flower. Some people don't like to have very dark pencil lines. I'm not concerned with that. I watch work a lot, and he considers all like gouache and watercolor, and well, I have to ask. I guess I'd have to ask him about casein specifically, if he considers that to be watercolor, since it's water soluble. So I'm guessing he would say that that's how he approaches it. But anyway, he's just, all he cares about is making the best image he can make using whatever tools he has available to him. And I think that's like, to me, a much wiser approach than trying to be some kind of purist. I mean, we have all these different tools. So, find the tool that best suits the situation and then take advantage of it. Okay, so that's back there, that's there. Take a look at my iPad here and then see if I can find myself a flower that would work. Stink bug. Let's see, a hibiscus. I think this could be the right flower. I can't remember where these naturally grow. I mean, obviously in a lot of different places, but so I don't want it to be enormous. Like, I don't want it to take up a third of the page or anything, but I need it to look kind of natural, or I want it to look kind of natural. So I'm trying to see if I can find a hibiscus that it'll be coming in from the side here is my plan, and then have the I think the pistil, I think, is the longest part of the center of the flower. I think that's the part I'm talking about. I want that sort of be directing the eye towards the waterfall. But I don't want to get overly detailed with it, because I have a tendency to try to overdraw and overdo it, and then when I do that, it detracts from the overall quality of the painting, I think. Okay, so And I can make it whatever color I want, obviously, because it's my painting. But I think I can't decide if I'm going to do just a nice blue wash for the sky, and then if I do that, then I think a nice bright vibrant red hibiscus will look good. Okay, well, let me just find the right shape first, and then I'll worry about the color as we go. What I would prefer to do is just walk out into nature and find what I'm looking for and try to use the actual location as my reference, but it'll be a couple years before I can do that on a regular basis. Yeah, I think this process is making me wish we just had some hibiscus growing in the front yard. So I might just make that happen this summer. Dogs are just going to be barking all day long. Huh. Well, that's going to be... So some of these, my problem is trying to draw them at this size is going to be difficult, and then painting them is going to be hard too. This might be good. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with this one. I think this will be all right. Let's see. Let's hope, anyway. So hibiscus is a 5-petal flower, at least from this type. So kind of comes like this, and this one over here. And so the camera, if you want to think about this as if you were somewhere taking a picture, is basically right next to this hibiscus, and it's you're shooting with the hibiscus right next to your face, kind of. Not that I don't believe that thinking about it in terms of photography is necessarily something you have to do, but I think that sometimes it's helpful as a way to think about what's going on or what you're trying to do. Okay, so yeah. And we get these veins in the petals as cross contours. And my iPad's already going to sleep. No, I don't want to see that, whatever that is. Oh boy. Okay, great. And then down in here gets quite a bit darker. So this is sort of just a circle to kind of remind myself. And I don't mean I'm gonna have to create my own light scheme, but I mean the saturation of the color of the flower is much, much darker, at least in the photograph, down in here. And then what I believe is called the pistil for this one. It kind of comes out here, and then it looks like it has 1, 2, 3, 4. The pistil on a hibiscus, this particular kind, has these 4 little balls on them. Or 5, excuse me. Yeah, sort of like that. And then it's a bit thicker than that. Comes down into here. And some of this stuff, right, like down in the interior of the flower, it's difficult to see from the photo. And so you can take the shape of the petals and kind of just hide what you can't see, so that it, so you don't have to worry about getting that right. I mean, if you can't see it, if you can't see something, I mean, it's hard enough to draw something for the first time if you can see it. And yeah, I guess I should have mentioned, I've never drawn a hibiscus before, so I'm just looking at an image of a hibiscus right now on Google Images, and then I'm not trying to do a photorealist drawing of this thing. I'm just trying to get a representation that will look kind of like a hibiscus to anybody who is not a, I don't know, and who doesn't just have a hibiscus garden and is a master hibiscus gardener. Okay, so this needs to have some leaves. Or I guess it doesn't need to, but having some leaves is gonna make it look like this flower is actually, it's not just floating in the air. I don't want that. I want this hibiscus to appear to be growing in this environment. So I need I don't know if I'm going to be able to see how the leaves actually look, but I think it kind of grows on a tree. Once I start painting, by the way, I will stop talking. Let's see here. What do the leaves look like? Yeah, it looks like they do these twist braid shrubs of the hibiscus, but I don't think, I mean, certainly there could be some kind of like Johnny hibiscus seed person that goes out into environments and planted shrubs or what hibiscus shrubs to kind of I don't know, enhance or try to enhance the beauty in a way that was aesthetically pleasing to him or herself, to their self. But this is supposed to be just kind of a natural environment, so I'm gonna look and see what the shape of the leaves are. And I wouldn't be surprised if the shape of the leaves that I choose aren't necessarily the shape of the leaves that this actual hibiscus would have, because again, it's a different, there are many different types of all these things, but I think I'm probably going to go with red for this guy, and so since it's coming up, I hope people can see, yeah, okay, good, framed it okay. It's coming up this direction, so that means there's going to be leaves over here, and not over on this side. So I'm going to get this shape. I mean, they look like pretty standard leaves with a little bit of, we've got kind of these little spiky guys, but they're more subtle than that. All right, so there's one. There's two. And then I think maybe having like a couple that look like they're a little smaller, kind of down here. And then I guess it sort of depends on, do I want it to be coming this way or up this way? I think one, I need to increase the sleep time. So that one's there. I'll just add a couple small leaves and not worry about the stem, just because it doesn't seem like it's really worth it. And then I'll add like one more. It's probably too many leaves. I didn't look to see if there was a pattern. And we got one hibiscus here. Perfect. I want to adjust the shape of the petals so that the stamen has enough space right here, so I think what I'll do, just so that the flower still looks like it is correct, I want the flower to come through here, but I'm gonna have the stamen come out just a little farther. I think maybe it should be starting there. It goes like this, and then we got the 5, 1, 2. This one's bigger because it's closer. 4, 5. These thingamabobs, they're all connected in a way. And I'll use the colors behind it to kind of clean it up. I think maybe it's just slightly too thick. All right. And then down in here is where it's going to be the darkest. This little circle, circle, circle. Bring this petal right here, and it's growing out of here, so it should actually be probably curving that way a bit. And this one, bring it down, bring it up. Okay, hibiscus, hooray! Now, put that background there. These rocks, I don't know how much more work I really need to do with these. I'm gonna kind of, I guess, got the waters right here, that's fine. Okay, so sitting back here, with a little bit of space, I do want this to be curved more. I want this one to be curved more. So I'm adding some, and this one, and this one. And these are these are cross contour lines for me to understand the shape of this flower better. And this flower is not meant to be the main focus of this painting, but it's going to create, I hope, a nice sense of depth and also add a good contrast, so that there's a visual, like a color contrast that helps to enhance everything overall. All right. So I'm gonna kind of pull back on some of these pencil lines, because starting with watercolor, and then if I need to get it sorry, so I want to make sure I try and do as good a job as I can of keeping the white nice and clean. But if I need to use opaque media, such as gouache or even if I wanted to use oil paint, then eventually that's possible. But right now, we'll just go with what we're going with here, watercolor style. Oh, all right. I'm gonna plug in my iPad so that my reference is visible, and so that I can listen to some tunes. All right. There we go. And go to my reference. Huh. Oh, there we go. And I just have my my waterfall reference up. All right, let's see here. Guess I'm going with blue since somehow this brush still has blue paint in it. Guess that's what I get for not cleaning it. But that's okay. A little purple up there. And then if I need to, if I decide that I want to change it to some other sort of like a sunrise or whatever, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring this blue all the way through, because that mountain range back there is gonna be it's far away, so it won't be very saturated. And if I want to make this waterfall more violent, often what I end up doing is using like white gouache or some sort of opaque medium to I didn't even mention acrylic. That's still totally usable. Okay, so get that up there. All right, that's all there. I can't decide. I might want to mix my own green. So these rocks here, I want them to be very bright, vibrant, sort of, I don't know, I guess I would call it Hawaii green. And then I'll start looking at this more closely once I get farther along to determine how much darker I need stuff to be to make things stand out the way I want, and then also to make it clear that these shapes are the things that I intend them to be. Okay, so, well, if I can make a green out of this, this is a very, very dark green away from the light. So I'm going to start dropping some of this in here just to kind of give it a sense of and I also want it to be darkest right next to the water, because the water is going to be the brightest part. All right. Like a piece of broken brush. I'm going to start, I don't know if that's the right red or not, but it is the red that I chose. It needs to be more orange, probably. I'm going to switch brushes here to a smaller, well, I don't know actually if this is smaller or not, but I'm using an Isabey brush instead of the Da Vinci brush there. My palette is a complete disaster. There's nowhere to mix. I don't remember the last time I cleaned it. That's that color that I just mixed is not going to do the job. All right, I'm going to try and clean a little bit of space here so I can actually mix a color that I want to use. Doing a lot of casein and other stuff on here. So I'm not even sure what I'm going to be able to clean off with water and what I'm going to need to scrape off, but get it done. Okay, here we go. Now what I'm trying to do is mix some yellow and red to make a nice orange color and avoid as much of the green that's down in that well as possible. And if I don't like the color that we end up with, and this towel is almost 100% non-absorbent because I've been using it for oil paints. My life is a shambles. Okay, so I'm gonna get this through here, or start getting this, just getting some color onto this flower. Yeah, I mean, this is not at all the color that I want, so maybe this red will salvage some of it. I don't know. Got a good feeling I'll be coming back to this flower with some opaque paint, but for the time being, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Okay. Now, that ridge back there is supposed to be a little bit darker. I think I'll stay with blue. I don't want it to be super, super dark though. So, I mean, blue, I think, is where this is where we want. So, as things descend, as things go farther back, get pushed farther back away from where we stand, they get desaturated because the sky, there's a blue that alright, let's get some more green. I'm also not like afraid of brush strokes as some people are. I'm not trying to make this look like a photograph. I want this to look like a painting because that's what it is. But I am quickly running out of green because I'm not mixing enough to start. Okay. And then, so this is kind of like a waterfall in a canyon. And then this is going to be another rock separate from this. So it'll be darker than this one right here. But we want this green because it's going to help create contrast with the hibiscus. Do my best not to start singing what I'm listening to, because I don't know if that's like gonna get me banned. Or they'll just, I mean, because my singing will be so bad, they'll just use copyright as a reason to ban me. In the world. Well, I hope somebody buys this house today so that this is not the norm. My dog's behavior. All right, we're making some progress here. Let's see. So I really like, probably too much, Payne's Gray as a nice dark, cool color. It's definitely done a lot of work for me ever since I started working with watercolors, I don't know, what, 7 years ago or something? Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna try and get this here to be the darkest. And we'll see what happens with the contrast between the Payne's Gray and the green up against this hibiscus. It may push the red up to a bright bright enough color that I don't need to use I won't need to use an opaque paint, but there's no way to know for sure until we do it. and then it's, you know, comes down to a matter of opinion anyway. And I'll decide when I get there. But I'm going to definitely want, even though this is darker, I'm still going to want this this rock to have a green as a major part of its color. So it's going to be a dark, dark, dark green, because all of these rocks back here are constantly wet and constantly humid, and it's constantly humid, so, and it's warm. It's not just wet and cold, it's wet, warm, and that is making it so that stuff is growing on them constantly. Alright, I think I actually have a pre-mixed green watercolor. Look in my... I've got these. Yeah, I got these great Holbein watercolors for Christmas 2 or 3 years ago. I don't use pre-mixed green, or I didn't use pre-mixed green very much, but in this case, I'm going to take the pre-mixed green and mix up a fair amount of it, and then come down here to the bigger portion of the palette, and then get some Payne's Gray and mix it in, and I think that's going to do a good job of, it's pretty watered down though, so I better get rid of this excess water so that I can actually get some pigment onto the painting. Okay. There we go. So this is, these are the leaves. And I want them to stand out from the rock below. And they're not the main focus again, so it doesn't matter if I have every single little detail of these leaves painted in. What matters is that they look like leaves. Okay, I can't remember what the stamens color was, but I'm gonna leave that be for a minute and focus on getting some more of the dark say it's dark down here in this area, you know, still a little green but not as green. And then I'm gonna say that this rock is shaped kind of like that, which will give us a shadow here, and then a shadow that can carve a shape into that hibiscus leaf petal, excuse me. But I want few hard edges. I don't want a lot of them. Okay, so right here, right here we have this leaf, and I'm gonna just, and all of this is choices, but I'm gonna make a choice that this petal is actually gonna be doing a cast shadow onto this leaf, and then this leaf is going to be doing a cast shadow onto this leaf below. And then I'll soften that out a bit down here, and then right here as well. I don't know you know, I'm not looking at a reference for this, so I'm just going to have to do my best to get it close enough so that it actually looks believable. I'm going to try and get some paint, or I'm not going to try, I'm going to get some Payne's Gray down into this part, because there would be a shadow here, and this is folded over, so this also is going to have a little bit of a shadow because the sun's coming this way, the sunlight. This will allow me to continue to make these shapes more interesting. Now that's going to cast a shadow down here and cast a shadow here. Okay, this is going to start to push this thing, the hibiscus, out from the back right here, which means that this is going to be a little bit shadowed over there because this is turned away. And then let's say this maybe ends like that or something. This one here, and this is basically my process. I kind of bounce around and then back up to take a look once I make a fair amount of progress. I don't really just, you know, focus on one thing constantly until that one thing is completed. That's a valid way to do it, but for me, it's hard for me to see the whole image if I just focus on one small little area. So I'm going to take a step back here. I still don't really like how bright the hibiscus is yet, but I think we're going to make some more progress here. Saturating stuff. It's 10:30. I got an hour. Oh, I got way too into this. I was going to do some other stuff today, but I believe this is what's happening. Now for me, these rocks back here are not, they're not going to be green, as I see them as constantly being hit by water. I'm going to start getting some, the sky is blue, and that means the water is going to be reflecting the sky. And the white of the paper is the white when you're doing watercolor, but if any of this becomes too dark, or if I need some additional white, then I'll have the ability to do that with gouache or acrylic or oil. It really never ends. You're never out of luck. Even if you think, you know, oh, I can't use anything but watercolor. Well, I would suggest you reevaluate that idea, because you're the painter. There's no rule book, unless you want there to be. Just make arbitrary rules for yourself to keep you from doing what you want to do. It is your life, after all. Okay, now I'm trying to think about what else I want to do here. I might actually start adding some blue to try and shape this more and create even more contrast with the hibiscus. It's of course I add this flower, and then, you know, the whole painting just becomes it's supposed to be, the focus is a waterfall, and then I end up kind of obsessed with this flower. I'm gonna have to let it go, man. Let the flower go. it stays a painting and doesn't become a drawing. It's not what I want. I don't want it to be. There we go. I guess obey the laws of physics. Despite the fact that this is not based on any real image. There's no waterfall that looks like this that I'm aware of. I haven't seen them all, so I'm not gonna rule it out completely. But okay. Now I'm trying to get some dark blue green. I want it to be near the waterfall so that the waterfall becomes brighter as well. I'm gonna probably carry this through. I'm definitely gonna need a bigger brush though. You want to use the biggest brush. Always use the biggest brush you can for any of the painting. Sometimes it feels a little weird because you feel like maybe you don't feel like you have enough control, but you really do want to make the biggest strokes that you can make for every single time. That way you're, I guess being economically or economical is the word. Art economics. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere. And then I'm gonna get this rock saturated more so that that's gonna push that mountain in the background farther away. I don't want it to be too saturated, because if it becomes too saturated, then this one up here ends up getting there's not enough separation between the two. But one of the ways that you can make sure that your stuff up close doesn't fade away too much is by adding the shadows, the things that are closer to you. Shadows in contrast just in general is much more severe, pronounced than for things that are far away. So, yeah, here we go. All right, it's a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm still going to end up needing to do this. Probably the way that I'll do this stamen situation is with either casein or gouache, just because then I won't have to worry about doing a bunch of glazing and messing with the colors in the background and stuff. All right, so this one, where is this? rock. Let's see if I can maybe get some actual depressions in here. And what I mean is, so the light's hitting this kind of direct. This over here, I don't know, I might have a, yeah, okay. So these places where the brush strokes are, I think the term, like I said before, is scumbling. If you, I mean, or dry brushing. Maybe dry brushing and scumbling might be two separate things. I don't know. I could look it up, but I probably never will. And then someday I'll be somewhere talking to someone and they'll say, well, that's not scumbling. And then I'll go, oh, well, what is it? And they'll go, and I'll be like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's probably not the color I want. Oh well. Guess I gotta throw it away. Did one thing I didn't like. Out of all these decisions that I've made. Just kidding. There's a lot of decisions that I've made on this painting that I'm probably not happy with. But you don't quit. If you quit, then you know who pays the price for that? Just you. Because if you're not doing this for yourself first, probably gonna have a lot of unhappy days. Trust me, when I say that, I'm saying it from experience. It can be hard to get motivated. Okay, and it can be hard to get motivated even if you have something commissioned, so. Just finish it. Finish what you started. Even if it's a complete disaster when you're finished, you know. Because it might be a disaster to you. Honestly, recognizing that it is a disaster in your own mind, like, you know, you set out to do something, and you see that what you set out to do is not what you had intended. Something can be learned from that. Then the next time you try to work, you can avoid making the same mistakes, and then maybe you do what you set out to do. Maybe you don't. But you just gotta keep working. All right, set back a little bit here. I think we're making progress. Quite a bit of progress, actually. I don't know. There's a little bit of red in there. I kind of like it. Some purple. I'm gonna see if I can get this. It's rose madder. As you can see, there's no clouds in this image. And it's probably fine. I mean, but if I wanted them, I would absolutely have to do that with an opaque color. Okay, so this mountain range back here, way off in the distance, I feel like maybe I could use one more. That's at roughly the same distance, and I may end up regretting it, but there's no clouds, so think it will help to make the brightest brights brighter if it's a little bit darker there. Okay, so we got a couple mountains in the background. We got this waterfall that is coming across these rocks. I usually like to drop like a couple rocks in here, but I think I'm going to skip that this time, and I'm going to start trying to figure out a way to separate these rocks from this to give them a little bit more distance. And honestly, it's probably the answer is just Payne's gray, baby. So, but I don't want it to be hard edges if I can avoid it. So I'm gonna get the Payne's gray in here and try to do it, just kind of drop it in. Now I want this to be flat up top. And then it's gonna get hit by the sun over here, but not here. And then this rock, let's get this guy like this. Sorry. Just sweet guitar riffs blasting my ears. But at least I wasn't singing, right? Okay. So I think that creates, yeah, now that I think about it, there's no way from this angle that we would be seeing that. So I'm gonna fix it to this, like this. So we're looking up at this waterfall. So seeing the top ridge of this mountain that is kind of, or well, this rock formation that's holding back this water would be very odd, I think. Over here, it's okay. This is like closer. I'm gonna go with that. There we go. Now this here, if the rock is kind of an angle, angling down a bit like this, I think that would work okay. There we go. Okay, I am stepping back for a second here. Yeah, so, man, I don't know. I mean, adding too much more here, it's just gonna start getting confusing. I wonder. I don't want to say I'm completely finished here, but this is pretty darn close. I'm gonna have to figure out the hibiscus, the stamen, which I will do with. I don't know if I want to do that with. So what I'm gonna do, since I'm gonna do that in an opaque color. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get this all with a clean-ish wash over top, over the pencil drawing, and then this is gonna come through, and then I can just draw it literally however I want, and then fix it from there, and try and do some more little shading stuff to just try to help everything pop a little bit more. Yeah, definitely shade that up. Soften. And softening the edges is pretty easy to accomplish with watercolor. You just get a little water on there and touch it. Mission accomplished. No, I'm still not totally convinced that this is the right red, but maybe if I do another wash over top, I'm gonna see how that goes. Because if it's too desaturated at this distance, sorry, what I mean by at this distance, in case that's confusing, is this flower is the closest thing to the viewer of the painting. So it is going to be the thing that's the most, or I want it to be the thing that's the most vibrant. I mean, I guess I can't say that without fail in nature, the thing that's closest is the most vibrant. Well, I can say that that's not without fail, right? The sun is, what, 93 million miles away, and if the sun is in the sky and not obscured, it's going to be the most vibrant thing. I think. I mean, I guess there are instances where it's not, but those are probably what, like somebody has some crazy lighting system that they're just blinding you with. Weaponized light is brighter than the sun. Yes, I know, like if it's nighttime, obviously there's stuff that's brighter than the sun, like come on. All right, that red is better. I'm just gonna keep pushing this with layer after layer and see if we can get this to be even brighter. And I think we can. The brush I'm using is a little bit too small for this, definitely. But okay. I should probably look at the time. All right, cool. Got 30 minutes here. I think we're gonna get this guy done. I have to let this hibiscus dry though before I do anything over top of it. So, and then definitely need this in here to be darker. So I'm going to drop that in as best I can. And then I think I'll actually just drop it in all the way around. That way whenever I paint over top of it with the gouache or whatever I use, probably gouache, I don't have to worry about filling anything in. Okay. And then it's like this. Not sure how long this will take to dry, but probably not too terribly long. And then I'm just softening these shadows again. Who would have known that if I spent hours and hours on flowers that would end up using those things to create more contrast. All right. Now I'm looking at this and I'm trying to decide if I like what's happening down here. It looks like the waterfall, the water's hitting things, it's moving fast, there's rough water, but what am I missing? It's probably supposed to be darker in some spots, yeah? So maybe we'll use some dry brushing to see if we can get that working some more. I think I'm gonna look at I had a reference. I want to see, that's not the right one. So I'm going to look at, what on earth? This is not what I wanted. Lots of hibiscus images that I looked at, in case you forgot. Here we go. So I'm going to look at a waterfall where I can see the top like this, and when I'm looking at this waterfall, which I don't know what it is, this is something. Looking at the top, that seems to be, at least in this image, I'm looking at where it's the brightest. So, and then it becomes darker at the curve, or at the drop off. So I'm gonna try and get this a little bit of that to make the drop off seem more seem more like more natural looking. And I don't have to be afraid, as I said, if I'm doing this and then it gets too dark, all I have to do is come in with some opaque media, opaque paint, and fix it up. No big deal, you know? And I mean, I think I'm probably going to do that anyway, because I really want... violence isn't the right word, but I really want the motion of the water down here. Like this, you know, it's implied by the white that this water's hitting down here, but I don't want it to be implied. I want to really feel it. All right, and then I'm going to try to get some kind of, so the water's sort of coming, okay, this way. There's going to be some spots where it's darker than others, of course, as it's falling. Yeah. All right. But it seemed like the faster it started moving as it went down, my reference disappeared on me, the whiter it got, which makes sense because it's moving too fast for anything other than the light to kind of hit it. Now, these rocks are super far away, but I want to make them... I want to create a decent amount of contrast here so that the waterfall is brighter. Okay. It sort of sounds like maybe the people are all done coming to the house. It's already sold. We had really amazing neighbors. They had lived in that house for 30 some years. Now they're moving. Still staying in town. They have their whole family here. Or the majority of their children still live here. And it's really cool. But, I mean, it's certainly partly sad, moving on to different stages of life. There's some stuff to be sad about, but they're both still together, both moving to the new place together. Pretty beautiful. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take a step back here. I mean, yeah, what else? What else are we supposed to do? I got 22 minutes, which is probably enough time, excuse me, to let this dry enough that I could get my either the casein or the gouache. I think if I use, I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. And then once I've done that, I can just decide if I want to add a little bit of like froth or up here and down below. Okay. But before I do that, I should look at this hibiscus and see what the color of, oh, no, not go. Why waterfall hibiscus? I don't know. Weird. Okay. So I'm gonna look and see what color the stamen for the red one, which seems like a pinkish, very light red color that's gonna come through here, and then those little dots, or I mean, I'm no idea what those things are actually called, but beads. I'm sure that's not it. But I'll start with a water-soluble medium, so I'll use, if you look at my gouache here, I got primary magenta, I don't have any white left. Got some Chinese white, and some permanent designer's gouache. So I'm going to go with permanent white and this magenta, and I think this right here is casein, so that's probably I don't even know if I can get it out of here. Wow. Jeez. Okay. It's pretty gummy. I don't know if this is gonna last. So we got that, and then we'll get, well, not gonna need very much of this magenta, I don't think. And hopefully this color gets where I need it to go. If not, I think I can probably fool around with it with some orange to get it where it needs to be. But I'm not, man, that, my goodness, that white is really dry. All right, got the white going, but we need it to be a little bit thicker. I want it to be thicker than the watercolor. There's some orange already on the palette here that may get us where we need to be. More red than that, though. Alright. It's like too pink. That's definitely too pink. So I'm gonna get, do I have any yellow? Pretty sure I got yellow. So, need a little bit of yellow in here to get it away from this super, like this pink is gonna be way too pink. It's a little bit of yellow. Put those away. I mean, actually, I guess I don't know if I need a little bit or a lot, but that seems pretty orange. So let's go more of the magenta. Okay, and then I think with this color we might be good to go, but I'm gonna need basically the smallest little brush I have. I think I actually have a number 1, but I'm gonna use the number 2 brush, size 2. This one's an Escoda Optima. And then for this type of situation, I've got my, whatever this thing is called, I can't even remember anymore. But I made this just with a dowel rod and a, like a thing for a, if you put it on a chair leg. Okay, I think it needs to be slightly bigger than that, maybe. Okay. And it doesn't really have a lot of not very, just needs to disappear. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not very gestural, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but I think here in a second, once we get it, it's a little better. Well, I can cover up some of that, but all right, what I need to do now is get basically as red as possible for these little balls. Okay. Get in here again. I think it's about right. And then I will try to use some Payne's Gray, sort of I don't know. Am I disappointed with that? Probably. I don't know that I can get that changed without bringing in. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Just remember what I said about giving up. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. I don't know. I'm guessing that somehow this would sort of cast an additional shadow someplace. And I'm going to say that it's like here. It's getting better. I hope it continues to improve as we make these minor little strokes. Yeah, okay, so then this petal is like, there we go. Yeah, I mean, one of the benefits of having a reference that's lit and all that other business is that this stuff isn't as complicated. Okay. You don't have to invent as much. All right, I'm gonna start laying in some of this also just to give it the get a little texture in here. One of the issues I was having looking at it is that the reference I was looking at, the color of the actual stamen was a lot closer to the color of the petals of the leaves, so it was making it tough for me. I'm gonna maybe see if we could get some of this going on. Okay. And just sort of imply some of these little lines. All right, let me step back for a second here and see. All right, yeah, I don't know. We got 9 minutes to fiddle around with this guy a little bit more. I definitely don't want anything to be too harsh. I don't want to go from nice, soft. So that bloomed like that because it was wet still, which can happen. Not a disaster. Sorry. I don't know. I feel like eventually I'm gonna have to just stop, or things would devolve into a complete disaster. So, all right, standing back here. Oh, yeah. That is not bad. Okay. So you have a waterfall. I'm not wholly certain that not having another. I don't want to do another flower because that's probably going to be way too much to try to get in on top of it. Usually having a branch or something to come through on one side can help push it back, but I feel like this flower's done a lot of work actually. So really all I have left that I'm gonna do here real quick, I think, or that the plan is to do it really quickly, is to try and maybe get a little bit of the white gouache to, oh, where's my palette? Oh, haha, I put it over here. So I got my palette here now, and I'm gonna try and do just like a little bit of kind of try to create a little bit more motion here. Let's got this. Try and like make it look like we got some big splashes and things as the water's roughly coming to the now I don't I don't think this is necessary, but I do think it's I do like it. I'm doing a lot of dry brushing using a very small brush. I think if you were to compare this to the image previously, before, or to the image before I did this, I think this is a good choice. All right, and then all that really does is, for me, is give it a little bit of a sense of motion, okay? Which I like. I don't like thinking of the world as a static thing, because it's not. Alright, so I got 2 minutes left, and I feel like, you know, that the pistil on the flower is not my favorite part of the painting, but it's not about one minor little part, right? It's about the whole painting. So, thank you for anyone who was hanging around to watch, and probably, I don't know, guess put this one up for sale at some point on the website. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thanks a lot.